Dude, I train Karate Kid style in somebody's garage. I train in a 40-year-old man's garage. Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off. I do his yard work.
Tell me he has a bonsai. Tell me he has a bonsai.
Oh, let me tell you a little something spicy though. I did kiss my kindergarten teacher.
You dog.
Yeah.
There will come a time in your life, I don't know when that's going to be, that's up to you, where you're going to have to finally say to yourself, this has to change.
She also had a crack problem and also caused my grandfather to relapse into his crack problem, which I also left out. He's a Jehovah's Witness, by the way. So this is like crazy, bro. Some dude pushed me off a balcony and I fell 12 feet and I fractured my spine. Now, granted, I ain't fall over by myself. I brought him with me. I have night terrors about that situation. You know, some of these things are still unprocessed to this day. Sometimes I'm totally insensitive to certain things and I shouldn't be. I actually want to make a confession. Do we do confessions on here? I've seen a couple confessions.
Oh, we do confessions. Let's get this party started. All right. Welcome to the Barbells and Bourbon Podcast, the podcast that allows real people to tell real stories. I am your big, bald, bearded, barbell lifting, bourbon drinking son of a bitch, Shaun. And joining me today is Christian Harris.
What's up, everybody? How we doing today, man?
What's up, bro?
Hey, thanks for having me.
To our home. Mm-hmm. Christian, if I were to ask good friends of yours, what makes you a good friend? How do you think they would respond to that?
I think that it would be something that they notice. I don't leave anybody out of the party, you know, whether it's in a gym setting, whether it's in a bar setting, whether it's in just a family and friends event, whatever. I always make people feel comfortable and okay. You're not going to be shy around me, you know. We're all here for a good time. And at the end of the day, I think that's something that a lot of people value maybe about myself is that I'm a weirdo, man. I get goofy and like I'll do the dumb things or put myself out there so that you feel more comfortable to do that.
Yeah.
Because I don't embarrass very easily.
No.
We'll see how this goes,
Yeah.
With the questions I receive. But yeah, man, I'm very compassionate and my friends are my family. I don't have that structured household. So they've always been a part of the deeper inner aspects of my heart. And the way that I care for them, man, there's nothing on this world I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
You know, I'd take my shirt off for them and give them if they needed it, house to stay. I don't care. Whatever you need, however hard it's going to get, we're going to go through this together because I've been there and I can relate to it.
Well, amen, brother.
So,
and, you know, and being a good friend of yours myself, I couldn't agree with you more. We haven't known each other that long.
honestly,
if you think about it, it's probably been a year and a half.
Yeah,
maybe.
Honestly. And it's actually funny how we got close.
It is.
You know?
And we'll talk about that. But, you know, I mean, we've got close really fast.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably a good way to put it. And I think a lot of that is because you don't leave anyone out. You make everybody feel comfortable and you have an open heart and you allow people in. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why we connected so fast. But, you know, we're talking about a lot of good, right?
Right.
But with all good, typically there's some bad. And as you sit here today, Christian, can you tell me that you've been through some crap?
Oh, man. I mean, the definition of life kicking you in the teeth, I'm telling you, I've been through it all. You know, just to start off at a really, really slow space, I lost my mother when I was 3. My father, he also had a drug addiction along as well with my mother. He went to jail for 12 years. So, you know, I never had that loving, warm touch of parents, you know, especially at a young age when those things are so fundamentally important for a child to have. I was in foster care for about 2.5, 3 years, and I'm actually not even from Pittsburgh, believe it or not. As much as I bleed black and gold,
Yes,
baby.
you do.
I'm from Connecticut, man. I was born in Hartford, and there was always a constant battle between my family, you know, being mixed, you know, being Italian, Puerto Rican, and African American. It's a very hard situation to be in because Sometimes, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm just gonna come out and say it. Sometimes I'm too black for my white friends, and I'm too white for my black friends. You know, that presents its own challenges. And I might be getting too far off, but that's just like even the tip of the iceberg of where I started and what I've come from. And man, has it been challenging over the years, just trying to not end up like that. You know, not become a product of your environment, so to say.
So 3 years old, you lost your mother. When did your dad end up going to jail? How old were you?
So he lost parental custody of me probably, I think I want to say at 3, because my mother got real sick. So he went to prison, and I'm not talking jail, I'm talking prison, when I was about 3.5 years old, because I was already into the foster care system, even though my mother and my father were still around at the time. CYS had came and, you know, saw that that was a unfit situation for a child to live in.
Yeah.
So.
Do you remember any of that? I know 3 is pretty darn young, but
the interesting thing about that is actually I do. I have night terrors about that situation. You know, some of these things are still unprocessed to this day. Sometimes I'm totally insensitive to certain things and I shouldn't be. And I'm just like, it probably stems back to some of those things. But one of my vaguest memories was I was staying in Bridgeport, Connecticut, which also at the time was not ever really a safe place for a child or anybody. I mean, it was truly one of the ghettos of Connecticut. God bless Miss Edie. Thank you for everything that you did for me. I mean, you are a saint and you really, really helped protect me. I appreciate that. But I remember right before, about 6 months before I got out of foster care, the CYS agents came and they sat me down on the couch. There was a big stone, like glass kind of kitchen or kind of church wall. Anyways, they sat me down in the living room and they were like, "Hey, Christian, we have to talk to you. Something happened." And I remember I've always been a happy child, you know. Yeah. I don't want to sit here and completely dog my parents because yes, they had their own issues, but they never made me go for naught. You know, if I wanted some whipped cream in the grocery store, my mother would open it up and, you know, right there in the grocery store. Yeah. They sat me down and they said, "Christian, this is going to be something tough to tell you. Your mother passed away." And I remember vividly saying that I was okay. I'm a big boy. I can handle this. And it was kind of almost a table like this, but a little lower to the ground. And, you know, I think any child's reaction would be the same. I grabbed the table, I flipped it, started screaming, crying. And I go through that dream more than I probably go through that dream about 6-7 times a year. It's very challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is getting deep. Can I interest you in a non-refreshing room temperature refreshment? You're a bartender.
I am.
So this is not foreign to you to be surrounded by bottles of liquor. Is there anything here that you would like to enjoy with me? It is your choice, dude.
Man, honestly, as a bartender, this is going to sound so stupid. And all of you bartenders out there, please don't come for my neck. I am a tequila drinker. It's okay, though. I can get down with the best of them. So
you have no choice.
If that's okay with you, I'd actually like you to kind of lead me around the world with this bourbon and maybe give me like some top choices that we have here.
Well,
because I like the finer things in life. I will say that.
My man, so do I. All right, bud, since I do respect you so much and you are so close to me, I'm going to treat us. I was just in D.C. for work this week at a conference. Okay. And while I was there, anytime I'm out of state for work, I go to a liquor store while I'm there. Not Absolutely. Because I can't do without it, but because Pennsylvania has really shitty selection of...
Dude, they're so strict.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. So when I'm out of state, I go to actually find things that I can't get here.
100%.
And I pretty much always come back with something that I've either never seen before or that, just looks interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be honest, the whole wall looks interesting. So that's I'm just gonna put that out there, man. Everything looks great.
So this was one of the bottles I brought back this week.
Okay.
Unopened. It's the Oak and Eden Bourbon Amberana. So there's actually, you can see a piece of wood inside it. So it continues the finishing process and takes on the flavors of that stave in there.
I was gonna ask, is that kind of like how tequila does with the worm, or like? Well, I mean, that's more so I believe it's a mezcal thing, but I could be wrong too. But you know what?
Does this sound good?
That sounds perfect. Thank you for opening that for me.
Absolutely, dude.
We go back like 4 flats on a Cadillac, So at the end of the day, it's really awesome to be able to have this experience. And again, while you're pouring that, I do want to take a moment to give you your flowers, because I feel like men don't get their flowers enough, man. Like, we're always forced to be on the harder aspect of things, or to be the embracers of all. And, do I think that's our role? Yes, but at the end of the day, you still deserve your flowers, man. I'm proud of everything that you've been doing here. You've been working real hard, and I personally talk to you outside of all of this. I talk to you outside of training, People don't have that drive that you have, and I just hope that anybody that watches this podcast understands what you're trying to do here. You are trying to do something good. One, for yourself because you thought this was a great idea, but this is really for the people. Like, he is trying to connect with you and trying to show you how much you can connect with people that are outside of your normal friend circle. And you deserve your flowers on that, brother.
Appreciate
for sure.
You, man. Love you, bro.
Love you too, brother.
And on that note, I just want the audience to know that I don't select my guests based on any criteria whatsoever.
100%.
None. I've had realtors, I've had bodybuilders, I've had bartenders, I've had unemployed people.
Yeah.
I've had photographers. I've had people that pretty much had a very simple life on the surface.
Anybody that actually tunes in and watches, the episodes that come out, like, I watch the ones I don't want to watch, because like, that's really like somebody who's like, what am I untapped into?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen so many different interviewees, I should say, I guess. Dude, I mean, all walks of life, all different styles. I've seen tall, short, big, small, blonde, brunette, don't matter.
White, does not matter.
Doesn't care, man.
No.
Like, but that's also you and your heart too. I remember the first time I met you. It actually was at Cheers. Yes.
Cheers, bro.
I'm gonna do my fancy aroma smelling.
Bro.
Ooh, that's really good. And that's exactly why I normally don't drink bourbon, because whoo, I just grew 3 chest hairs, and I don't have any to begin with.
That is really good, though. I mean, this is like, so that Amberana.
Yeah.
That's like.
Is that what we're tasting right now?
It's like a cinnamon stick.
Yeah, 100%.
That's crazy.
Like, I mean, I thought Blanton's was nice, but. Oh, I just had an interesting bottle the other day. Rip Van Winkle.
Oh, no.
We have it at my job, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's really hard to get.
I paid the money for it. I didn't like buy it myself, like the entire bottle, obviously.
Right.
No. But dude, the finish on it, very nice. I was incredibly surprised with how smooth it was.
I cut you off when we were cheersing.
Oh,
I don't.
So about when it's more so about how we met.
We met, yep.
Yes. So you were so nice and kind. My girlfriend's stepfather had passed away, and I think we had other times that we were supposed to meet up, all the 4 of us and everything, whatever. But you came and you showed your respects, and despite even that, people don't understand. That's actually kind of uncomfortable to go to somebody's funeral you don't even know. It can be.
It can be. Yeah.
Like, I don't know you. I don't have a personal connection with you. I'm just here for moral support. That is a hell of a thing to ask from somebody, whether people believe that or not. But anyways, it was so funny because you walk up, like Luca comes up to me and she's like, hey babe, like Shaun's here, you need to come meet him. And she had already told me that you are a freakishly large man. And I mean, I don't have any problem with that. I actually don't suffer from little man syndrome. Thank you. Very comfortable with myself. But like, you get these preconceived notions or these things in your head like, oh, this guy's huge. He's automatically an asshole. He's,
Yeah.
and it's so stupid to do that. And it's funny how our brain does that. How can I already prejudge you based off on something that I don't even know about you? I've had zero interaction with you. And even in that moment, like I had to check my brain. I was like, Christian, shut up. Like, go see the man like a man, shake his hand, and you'll probably end up being friends.
That's so funny.
And like, you see where we are now.
Yes.
You see, like, it's just so funny. And I think a lot of people even like going to the gym and stuff like that because like, you know what I do, people get so embarrassed of their own physique or something because they see somebody else. And that was something whenever I first started working out when I was about like 8 or 9 years old, I had to change my own notions of that because some people's genetics and physics are completely different. I probably, if I put the work, could be a good, like maybe 160, 170, but I like to touch my back, so I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Wiping your ass is fun.
Yeah, I was about to say, if I put a sticky note between your shoulder blades, I
cannot get, no.
We should do a side show of that. That'd be kind of funny. But yeah.
I mean, we had a fairly deep conversation.
100%. In the first, 7 minutes of meeting each other?
Yes. I think we probably talked for 15, 20 minutes straight without stopping.
Oh,
about
100%.
Some pretty serious life stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, I knew at that point in time, I had my first event coming up, and you were 100% supportive of that, and we talked about small things about, even your business, but the funny thing is you actually pushed away from your business. You didn't even try and gain me as a client. You were strictly there to talk to me just about a small introduction man to man, of who we are as base people. Can we progress this relationship forward, And that is actually really admirable because anytime somebody starts talking about this business, that business, anything.
You're waiting for the sales pitch.
Oh, yeah. You can harp on it in a second. And I mean, I was the one that actually brought it up to you. So that was actually kind of cool, the fact that you weren't just like, I'm going to take advantage of this moment. Like, we literally just talked about who we are as people, what our expectations of each other, and then a little bit about just our home lives. And I thought that was super respectful, bro, because trust me, man, I've talked to physical trainers. I've talked to a lot of people. I'm in sales. I mean, as a bartender, I am supposed to sell you on whatever I think you should drink. And it's really nice when you can just make somebody feel genuinely appreciated for having a small conversation. And that's something I got from you off rip.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I hope I have that same perception. I've heard things about myself. Mm-hmm. I heard I'm intimidating. I heard that people think similar things like you thought about me without even meeting me. Guys, I'm just a big teddy bear.
Facts. This is this jolly green giant right here, man.
I am. Those who know me know that I'm probably one of the most approachable, likable people
100%
that you'll ever meet. So,
and I think the funny thing again, it's just the misconceptions. This big guy doesn't have any time to talk to me. I want to ask him, how did he get here? How did he, people don't think people like you go through stuff. Yeah. Meanwhile, you guys are some of the most insecure, the most troublesome,
Guilty.
You guys go through these things. And I think it's funny because people think his life seems real put together. He doesn't go through anything. That's so uneducated to do.
Yep.
I mean, I've been behind the bar and been talking to people, and they're like, they think I come from a 2-parent household or something because I don't look like I've been through the ringer. Yeah. But little do they know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say hide it a little better, but we just deal with it the way that I think is the healthiest that we know how to.
Right.
I wear my emotions on my sleeves. I don't know about you. You kind of, you can kind of pick
Mix.
up on some things,
Yeah,
you know?
depending on who I'm around.
Right, 100%, with that, whatever that comfortability level is. See me, I'll tell you it all.
You will. Yeah.
Doesn't matter
And you
to me.
do.
Because you got to understand, man, these people that you're talking to, sometimes you might like that fire in them if you just open yourself up a little bit. You might want to be more closed about some things because you're like, I don't know if I should share that. I've only known you for 6 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't blame them either. I
This
don't.
guy's coming in hot.
Right. Like,
Stage 5 clinger.
and we all know one, unfortunately. That's
Yeah.
the problem. Shoot, man, I was just rambling pretty much, and yeah, but
That's what you're here for.
that's the bourbon, y'all.
All right. So I know we are kind of all over the place here. I want to get back to kind of like your childhood. So who ended up taking you in?
So my grandfather on my dad's side, he took me in at, I believe, I want to say about 56 years old. I want to say he was in his late 50s, probably about 58-ish. And I was only 4 at the time. You know, moving a child from another state at 4 years old, that's a big... I literally got passed off like a dog in the parking lot. My foster mother and my grandfather met at a hotel parking lot to exchange me. And not like... It sounds like... But that's what it is. That's really what it is, you know? They never met each other before. They might have had small conversations, but it's like, I don't think they did the research on like who they're taking me with. And we'll get into that because my grandfather really wasn't the best either. He did what he could and what I believe he tried to do the best, but dude, there was some shit. Yeah, so he took me in, you know. There was always a constant battle too. I never really knew the mom side of my family because at that time of them growing up, granted, my father is 51 now, I believe. My mother was a couple years older than him, actually. I believe she was 53. Well, you know, now she would be 53. There was a lot of black guy, white girl. They're both doing drugs. He got her into that. Like, there was a lot of, like, unanswered questions between both sides of my family. Dad's side saying my mom's side's racist. My white side of my family saying he got your mom into drugs. Like, it was pretty screwed up, you know? So, yeah, I mean, my grandfather took me in, but...
So that's how you got to Pittsburgh?
Yeah. And, again, I actually have 2 tattoos on my body that represent a part of my life. And any tattoo I get is always going to represent a part of my life. So, I do have the Connecticut tattoo right here because I am left-handed. And this entire arm is for my kids, anything that I believe is relevant to my life. Because I am left-handed, and that is how I feed and protect and take care of my family. And on the right hand, I got the Pittsburgh tattoo, which is pretty generic for your average Pittsburgh person. But Pittsburgh built me to be strong, and that's why I put it on the inner side of my bicep and tricep and my entire arm, actually, for that matter.
Yeah.
Because Pittsburgh made me who I am today. It's not a very easy place to grow up. You got to have thick skin if you're going to be here, man. I mean, the Pittsburgh culture, as you know it, it's a hardworking man, blue collar for the most part.
Yep.
The infrastructure alone employs most of the men in this city, you know?
Yeah.
So
your grandfather takes you in. Welcome to Pittsburgh. How do you remember school?
Yeah. So I was about 4 years old. I went to Diebel. It was a school located in Penn Hills. It is no longer there. It is actually now where the new... So Penn Hills had like 5 different elementary schools. They ended up condensing them all into one. And where my old school was is where the big new school is. I do remember school. Growing up, it was weird, man. I mean, I went from one foster brother and to an only child household. And I was allowed to interact with kids, but because of the way that I grew up, the social interaction for a long time was actually really weird.
Okay.
I didn't know how to interact with other children. I just thought everybody was like my sibling. So when they did something I didn't like, I'd get aggressive with them, especially with the trauma that I've already experienced, not properly being talked to about how to deal with emotions and things like that. Oh, let me tell you a little something spicy though. I did kiss my kindergarten teacher.
You dog.
Yeah, I did do that, man. And later on, her husband became my gym teacher, so that was even more awkward.
Full circle.
Yeah. Well, luckily I didn't kiss him.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, 100%. No. I mean, hey, do what you want to do in your life.
Seinfeld
But
thing.
yeah, that was just like, he was like, hey, weren't you the kid? And I was like, no.
I don't know what you're talking
Meanwhile,
about.
he knew exactly who I was. But kindergarten was fun, man. You know, at the end of the day, I got to experience a lot of things growing up in Penn Hills. One thing that was beautiful about going to elementary school, there were all nationalities in my elementary school, middle school, high school. So
Penn Hills is a very diverse community.
100%. It's the biggest, smallest place in the world, dude. Yeah. I mean, it's weird. You could know somebody from Penn Hills, and if I name 5 people, they'll be like, "Oh, I'm related to him. I know her." Yep. You know, yep. It's very interesting. But yeah, man. Actually, a funny thing about elementary school and growing up there too, and a lot of things people don't know is I actually skipped first grade. So I only did about half a year of kindergarten, half a year of first grade because my birthday was in a weird way, but I was always on a gifted program. I've always perceived things a little quicker or differently than a lot of other people, and I thought that was actually really, really cool. Funny thing, even though I was on a gifted program, I spelled my name wrong until the 3rd grade.
Because nobody properly taught you how to spell your name, probably.
No.
Right?
At the end of my name, there is an IAN, and I just put AN. And I remember the parent-teacher conference, bro. They were like, your kid's spelling his name wrong.
We have to talk.
Yeah. So I don't know wherever that puts me in anywhere, but,
a spectrum of something.
Right. And you know what? Who isn't on some type of ideal, spectrum? Sure. I think we all have our moments.
Yeah.
And what can I say, man? We're all creatures of habit. We all have these same things.
We're all special.
Yeah.
So you skip half of first grade. Let's fly through elementary school, junior high. That's typically when, middle school, that's typically when kind of the rubber meets the road with your social life and finding who your true friends are or maybe who your enemies are. Mm-hmm. What do you remember about kind of middle school?
So middle school was really rough for me because for a long time, it was just me and my grandfather. We lived in a duplex, like a, townhome style. And we actually had new characters introduced into my life. There was somebody who moved next door to us, and my grandfather ended up getting intimate with. Long story short, she also had a crack problem and also caused my grandfather to relapse into his crack problem. Which I also left out. He's a Jehovah's Witness, by the way. So this is crazy, bro. What? How? How does you're plot talking twist. About straight plot twist. They ended up moving in with us, and she had 3 kids. And I swear to God, to this day, I'm grateful for the moments and experiences that I've had with them. But sometimes I do have some resentment towards that entire situation because my grandfather was supposed to be taking care of me. Your sole primary thing was to take care of me, and you brought in more people, which took away from me.
Yeah.
Especially not in a positive way, So middle school was kind of rough, man. I had an ear infection from the time I was in 4th to 8th grade, and because of the drug problems that I was around, I lost 90% of the hearing in my left ear and 10% in the other. I mean, and that caused problems for me later down the road. I got turned down from the military, a multitude of things, just even personal connections. Sometimes, I mean, you know my lady, man. She's a sweetheart, but sometimes she gets frustrated with me not here.
You can't hear?
Can't hear shit. I mean, sometimes it works out to my advantage, but.
What did you say? I didn't say anything. So, because it was left untreated, you ended up getting permanent hearing damage.
It completely destroyed the ear canal, and it just was something that was literally inoperable. There was nothing we can do about it. So middle school was weird, man. I mean, I got bowl haircuts, and I was listening to heavy metal rock music, Bullet for My Valentine, that just speaks to me right there. That was the first band I've ever fell in love with, man. And I actually got to see them not too long ago, but we'll talk about that in another time. I was just such an awkward child because I never got to fully develop into who I wanted to be. I didn't have my own space or structure to really be like who is Christian. And to this day, it still affects me, you know? I think now as a 27-year-old man and the confidence that I have, I'm actually finally developing into the human that I am proud of and that I want to be. But it's just funny because these childhood traumas end up affecting us later on in life.
Yeah. I mean, all past experiences mold you into who you become, right? And as bad as they might seem on the surface, I mean, you took good from it.
100%.
And a lot of people wouldn't. Like, okay, at this point in your life, you're in middle school. Your mom died. You were 3 years old.
Yeah.
Very traumatic.
100%.
I never went
I don't
through
mean
it.
to laugh about that, but like,
No.
you gotta laugh at the bad.
Sure. Moved to Pittsburgh, brand new city, never been, with your grandfather, who's not the best role model. He gets in the drugs again. You're introduced to 3 new siblings from this stranger. You didn't exactly have the best life, man, but you took positives from it. A lot of people would go on with life resenting everything.
100%.
Hating life, taking it out on the innocent. But you're probably one of the most positive people I've ever met.
Thank you.
And I didn't know all this about you. Like, full confession. I didn't. We've never had this to talk before.
Nah, we actually haven't, man. It's, yeah.
So for this man to be sitting here laughing, smiling about this, like, check yourself.
100%.
If you think you're going through something, I'm not discounting that you might not be, but you don't have to hate the world just because things aren't going your way.
Right.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Honestly, and two, one of the beautiful things that helped get me through this, I have somebody that I call mom. Even though she might not be my biological mother, I had my Nana and my auntie. And they taught me so many good lives. I mean, I'm talking words of wisdom that you can just only get from somebody who's been through some things. I had my cousins, who I to this day will call my brothers, you know, because that's what my family, you don't get to decide who my family is. But technically they're my cousins, and they also took me under their wings, you know. It wasn't all bad growing up. And something they told me at a very young age is, Christian, yeah, your life fucking sucks, but somebody's got it worse. And yeah, coming from what I came from, dude, sure, it sucked. Yeah. It's terrible. But you do got to understand that somebody, and I hope whoever that person is comes out onto this podcast and tells their story, because this is what it's about. Like, it's about connecting and helping people, inspire people, helping people get through these tough times, you know? Yeah. So I had some very blessed people in my life, man. I had some places to run away and go hide, but they didn't let me hide when I got there. They helped me flourish.
Good.
You know?
Yeah. So what about high school? You went to Penn Hills for high school too?
Oh, yeah. High school was awesome, man. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of the man. You know, yeah. I kind of developed into this entire jock, wrestler. I had a fight or two that helped inspire my popularity, you know, which I'm not promoting fighting by any means. That's not cool. That's not how you gain attention. It's just the way that I went through that, you know. I was the ladies' man. I was the everybody's man, because I didn't just become a jock. I became a nerd. I became a teacher's pet. I became a rebellious student. I skipped class. I left early my 11th and 12th grade year. I left out the side doors every single day. Didn't even care about my education. Which, kids, please stay in school. Like, seriously, man. I grew up too fast, and that's not something I really encourage you to do. Please, play with your Barbies, play with your WWE action figures, whatever you want to do. Get off the video games and go outside and break an arm. Not literally. But yeah, so, you know, high school, I kind of was a man. Every single person in that school district knew who I was. Everybody in other school districts knew who I was. It actually got better for me, you know, at school. My home life still suffered because, yes, my grandfather got clean in the 9th grade, but his wife continued down her path. She went to rehab 4 times. And when she gave up crack, it went to alcohol. And there were a lot of times I'm getting my little brother up because she can't get up because she's up till 7 in the morning blasting music. And I didn't get much sleep on that either.
Yeah.
So, I had to grow up a lot, but I still always played it off well. And I mean, I had some really good teachers that stood out and helped me too. Miss Silvio, you a real one. Love you to death. Rossi Ann, Miss Bear. And I'm sure there's plenty other people that I'm, leaving out, but still thankful to all of them.
So was school your escape from your home life?
It allowed me to be whoever the hell I wanted to be.
So you were living two different lives, kind of.
Constantly. Not to mention still having to go to the Jehovah's Witness meetings and be basically a preacher boy.
So you were a hypocrite.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I was 16 years old, smoking, drinking, partying. I got kicked out of the house because my grandfather knew what I was doing. Actually I had a phone call with my father, and he was like, from prison, and he's like, you're hanging out with the wrong people. Like, you don't need to be smoking weed. And I was like, being the arrogant child I was at the time, I was like, you have no right to talk to me like this.
I had a feeling that's what you were going to say.
Yeah. Respectfully, actually said, don't drop the soap, and hung up. And I'm very glad my father doesn't hold that against me, because he's about your size. Not as tall, but he's pretty big. I wouldn't fight him to this day. Yeah, man, I was living almost a triple life, because whenever I was in the religious side of things, I wasn't allowed to talk about the home stuff because that would affect my grandfather and who was in charge of me. And then I go to school and people were like, oh, Christian, you're the man. But I didn't go on my first date until I was like 17 and already kicked out the house. I wasn't allowed to hang. If we were friends when I was 16, we wouldn't have been allowed to hang out because you're not a Jehovah's Witness.
Wow. And
I'm not shaming that religion, like, in any means. I still pray to Jehovah myself. Like, that is how I know my God. It's just there's certain things that I don't get down with. You know what I mean? I think strict parents make sneaky children. And
you just took that word out of my mouth, strict. So you were living in a strict household, which was not strict at all.
No, not at all. It was quite... I didn't even want to have people over. It was embarrassing. Yeah. Because as soon as I heard that beer can crack or whatever, like, I was like, this ain't worth my time. I used to just go for walks around the neighborhood.
Just to get away.
For hours.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't an enjoyable process growing up, but I still made the most of it. And I think that's what you really got to focus on, man. Like, you get to decide how you react to things. So I learned very recently from a study, E plus R equals O. And it's event plus reaction equals outcome. If you always react to the same event the same way, you're always going to get the same outcome.
Yep.
But if you can change how that reaction is, you'd be surprised the outcomes you get and the things that you learn.
Yeah, I had made a post similar to that years ago about things that we can control. There's a lot of things we can't control. Just
million
in life, period. But the one thing we can control is our reaction to things.
Right.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. So did you graduate from high school?
Ooh, barely. By the skin of my teeth. But yeah, I did. And I don't know how. I believe...
Because you were too many teachers' pets.
Yeah, I think that definitely had something to do with it for sure. I mean, I'm being honest, man. Like, it paid off, I shouldn't have graduated high school. I really shouldn't have. It is what it is, though, and I accept that.
Grades, attendance combined?
Both.
Yeah.
I mean, I made the baseball team in 9th grade, and I didn't even play. And I feel bad because somebody... Like, when you play baseball... You play for years. All those kids growing up together end up being on the same high school team because they all play together. They picked somebody over me. Or they picked me over somebody who had been playing with these kids for years. And I was ineligible the entire season. Do you know how much of a smack in the face that was to my coach?
Yeah.
Like, I picked you because I believe in you. You have no baseball experience.
You stole someone else's spot.
Right. And now you're not going to play? You little shit. Like... So, I mean, listen, man, high school, I was such a great student in person. But the academics are just as important, and I don't think people understand that. The academics and developing into an even better person. I got stagnant. I hit like this level of like popularity and being loved by everybody, and I was just like, I'm the man. No one can touch me.
Yeah.
But that's something you got to realize here.
So your school was just a social circle for you, and nothing more.
1,000,000%.
Yeah. There was no other function
no
behind it.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I was there to try and just portray some image that I wasn't.
And I hate to say I blame, because I don't know your family.
Right.
I blame your home life
100%.
for them not stressing the importance of academics and
1,000,000%.
your future.
Listen,
And what academics does for your future.
I constantly think about, what if I had these? What if I had that? And it's such a double-edged sword, because part of me is like, dude, it would be amazing to have somebody that gave a fuck about me. But I did. They just couldn't help me in certain other ways, you know? And then the people that actually were good in my life, they could only do so much, because I'm not their kid. They're not my legal guardian. They can only say so much. They can't kidnap me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's really hard. I ran away a couple times. I think I ran away twice, you know? And every single time I came back, because I like Hot Pockets. But,
Lava Pockets.
oh, man, the Philly cheese one. Oh, dude, don't get me started.
So let me ask you this. You said earlier on in our discussion that your friends are your family.
100%. 1,000,000%.
It totally makes sense now. Because, and I hate to say this, dude, so don't take any offense, but you really didn't have family.
No.
So your
Not at all.
friends were your family.
I was so used to getting hurt by the people that said they loved me that became irrelevant to me. Saying I love you didn't mean anything to me, because
Like, show it.
what the hell is this? Isn't love.
Yeah, yeah. Show me that you love me.
I mean, I've been on the phone with you, dude, and like, I'm not trying to be weird or nothing, but like, I've told you I loved you before
Yeah.
I got you off the phone.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna say it every single time, but at least once out of 5 phone calls, I will say that to every single person I care about, because I'm not just gonna express it, but it is good to hear. And if you see the actions behind it, you're like, yo, this person gives a damn about me. Like, and I think some people are weird, like, oh, like, I'm not saying I love you to another guy. Like, why? Are you that insecure with yourself?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you, dude?
That's the problem. Insecurity.
Like, one of my good friends, Nathaniel, he'll comment on my photos. He'll say, love you, Bubba. That's the nickname he gave me ever since we were kids. I don't care.
Yeah.
I love you too, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks for fucking commenting under my shit, because everybody else won't.
Yeah.
You know, thanks for interacting with me. Thanks for making me feel like a human. People are so weird when it comes to displaying affection.
I know.
What's wrong with it?
I know guys who, they won't hug another guy. I guess the first thing I do with my guy friends, I come in for the sugar. Like, come on,
Give
man.
me some love, dude. What's wrong with it? Well, I mean,
I'm
if
not
you're
gonna
comfortable,
grab your ass.
right? If you're comfortable with yourself, then what's really wrong?
That's it.
Is there
It's-
something I need to know about you?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is. I don't want to say that, because but there's a lot of insecurity there.
100%. I mean, you know what? I can't remember his name, but I did watch the full last couple episodes ago. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. He was a model, darker skinned guy.
Rashid.
Yes.
And I'll tag his episode, but don't you dare click that until you finish watching this one.
100%.
Right.
But we both deserve our views.
Yeah,
That
so-
episode, fire. He even talked about it. He's like, I'm bodybuilding and guys will be like throwing up the muscle emoji, like, but then as soon as I post something in my modeling phase, they're like, bro, that's weird.
It's weird, yeah.
I don't want to. Why, bro? I'll throw the fucking fire emoji. I don't care. You know,
they're uncomfortable in their own
you
skin.
know how I mean it.
Yeah.
What does anybody else's perception of what the hell you mean?
I know.
Because anybody's going to take anything you say and try and twist it. Like, that's just unfortunately the internet and what we live into nowadays.
Yeah.
But like, bro, yes, support your friends. Anything they do, anything, if you believe in something, support it. I don't care if it's a small business, large business. Support them, because they're going to appreciate that and they're going to remember that at the end of the day. It's just,
And you don't even have to believe in it. If you see, like, look, okay, you're a bartender.
mm-hmm.
You're very good at what you do.
Thank you. I like to think so. But
I'm not going to not support you because I don't want to be a bartender.
right.
That doesn't make any sense.
Period.
You're passionate and you're good, and you got a ton of good feedback about, like, you got to go here to see Christian. He's the man. I'm not going to be like, it's bartending. What's that? You know,
Right. Bro,
that's fucked up.
I'm not a bodybuilder, but I got a lot of friends that are. And they go and do shows and stuff. Sometimes I'll go on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'll hit the little airplane, send, and put it on my story.
Yeah.
What does it cost me?
Right.
3 seconds of my time?
Right.
If I even decide to write a message?
Yeah.
Other than that,
Yeah.
it's insane to me.
We could
man.
have like a whole 2-hour conversation on social media and influencing and whatever.
1,000,000%.
But okay, dude. So you get by the skin of your teeth. You got through high school. What is Christian thinking at that time as far as like what his future is going to be?
I've always had this drive for success. I've always had this feeling that I've been meant for greatness. I always feel blessed by God, in my honest opinion. What was going through my head? Who knows, man? I mean, I knew I wanted to get out of my household, and I had an ultimatum. At 17, I went to college. They said you're either going to live here and be part of the religion, or you're going to find somewhere else to live. And I didn't have friends where I had somewhere to live. So I said, I'm going to college. I thought I was going to get into welding. Yeah, just play in the field. What do I think was going on in my head? I want to party. And let's be honest, that's just what it is. Who gives a 17-year-old kid their own apartment? That wasn't a smart idea. I'll just say that there. But, I knew I wanted to be successful, but what route did I want to take? What do I believe in? I still had all of these questions. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to be. And ultimately, I flunked out of college for it, I had a girlfriend at the time. She was very, very awesome to me. And I couldn't even appreciate who she was at that time because of all the things that I had that were unfinished and unresolved in my life, A lot of the relationships that I've had with females have sucked. Not on their part, but because I was a shit human.
Yeah.
Because I always wanted to be the center of attention. And that's part of, I feel like what I grew up. I never got that attention. So when I did get a little bit of it, I took it and ran,
Yep. More and more.
It's
more.
hard, man. And, to anybody out there, I don't want to get too far off topic, but to anybody out there that, if I was a D-bag or, bad to you, I am sorry because I'm not that same person and I'm able to accept the mistakes that I've made. And I hope that I've only become better from them.
I respect that, man.
It
takes a big person to say that. And
because I've done a lot of them.
look, we all.
My bad, dude.
No, you're good, dude. We all look back and wish we could change things. Right. Did you learn from it, Christian?
A couple times.
Did you grow from it?
1,000,000%.
You can only be faulted so much if you actually learned from it and made changes based upon those mistakes.
Right. I mean, yeah, 100%. I definitely can say I learned from it, but did I enforce what I learned? Not always. I still wasn't mature enough for that. I wasn't ready for that. Sometimes you can get the lesson, but are you ready to understand and perceive what the lesson is?
You can hear it, but are you absorbing it?
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, it was a challenging thing going to college because what did I know? Nothing. I wasn't taught anything proper. I mean, I was taught the street life. I mean, I'm not going to put myself in some trouble here, but I wasn't doing the best things, I was out in these streets and, glorifying bad things. I was sagging my pants like a freaking hoodlum. I look back and I'm like, you freaking idiot. Who would do that? Knucklehead stuff.
What was your friend circle like?
I've been very blessed. So I always had, my older brothers, my cousins that I talked to you about. They were always like my ride or dies, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna put y'all out there. Y'all had me at a pit party at 12 years old. That was crazy. Y'all shouldn't have did that, but I enjoyed it. I have had the same friend group since 6th grade. And I'm very blessed because not a lot of people can say that. Now, granted, I've included other people into that circle, but like, they were always hard on me. Christian, you're doing too much. Christian, why are you always doing this? Why are you always doing that? And I was kind of acting out because I didn't know how to act. I didn't know what a true friend was sometimes, you know? It was always me. Are you along for this ride or not?
Yeah. You just wanted to have fun.
Right. But you know what, man? They never gave up on me. Ever. No matter how much stupid stuff I've done, no matter how much... And we've gotten in some arguments. I mean, for real. I think if you don't argue, you're not real friends. I'm sorry. You're allowed to disagree.
Yes.
I think that is an important part of a friendship, is to disagree. If you like red and I like blue, whatever. But you should be able to get past that.
Yep.
Don't be so close-minded, everybody. But yeah, man, they were very loving, very accepting of me, very judgmental at the same time. But a lot of them don't know even the slightest bit of the information that I shared with you today. And I feel like if more people did, then that'd be nice, but I don't need an excuse. I still am the owner of my own actions, you know?
Yep.
And just because these things have happened to us, do not allow us to make bad decisions. You can choose the road you want to walk down, regardless of whatever has happened to you.
Yeah.
So,
judgment. That is a word that is thrown around on these podcasts like you wouldn't believe, because we are all judged and we've all judged others. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
And for those who have judged Christian for, you know, knowing him in the past or whatever it may be, guys, like, I'm not saying what he said is an excuse, but he has a reason to act certain ways and react to certain ways and say certain things. You lived a pretty hellish life. I mean,
Yep.
Come on.
But you gotta laugh about it. If you can't make a good time out of the bad, you'll never truly appreciate the good. That's really what it is, man.
At least you can laugh about it.
Got to.
Yeah.
I laugh about the really bad
You do
stuff.
laugh a lot.
It feels good. Laughter is the best medicine.
It does.
One of the things my mother, my auntie, told me, and I'm not going to reiterate that again, because anybody that actually watched this podcast, they're going to know who I'm talking about. One of the things my mother taught me was that you have to be able to look at the bad times and turn them into good, because you'll always appreciate them. But at the end of the day, don't forget what happened. Mold it and let it be what you want it to be. Life is this big sandbox. Sometimes, you know, you might be building a sandcastle and you step the wrong way and you knock the whole thing down. So what? It's a couple bricks. Put it back together.
Right.
You can blow up your house if you want, but you still got all the bricks. Might take you a little bit longer to build it, but you still got the bricks, man. You can outcome any situation that you're in, for surely.
Yeah. So, what did you like? What was your first job? Like, when did you actually sit down and kind of like say, you know, Christian, it's time to, you know, be a member of society and, you know, provide and
Right.
make some sort of benefit?
So, my first job actually was at a laundromat, a dry cleaners for that matter. I was 12 years old and I used to take the bus from Homewood to Penn Hills just to get there. And I do that by myself. I wanted my own money. Yeah. Sure enough, my family didn't have it to give to me because of X, Y, and Z. So that was my first job. And I actually got fired. And I believe this isn't the true reason why, but they told me that I was eating too much.
Eating too much?
Yeah.
Like too many? Like
Yeah. I
breaks?
swear to God. Like, I think they were being nice. Like, I don't maybe know if my work ethic was polished enough at that moment. They were like, yeah, you know, you're just like, you're eating all the time. You're not really cleaning. And I'm like,
That's a piss poor excuse.
like, yo, well, don't buy Pizza Hut. You got a 12-year-old crack baby who's been eating. Dude, I used to have to share packs of ramen noodles.
You
with my
can't
family.
share a pack of ramen.
A pack of ramen.
Come
We went to the
on.
food bank and had powdered milk. I fought with my younger stepbrother over a burnt waffle
Oh my
to
gosh.
eat. And we used it as a Frisbee because we didn't have one.
Bro,
Like,
you can have all of our Eggos in the freezer.
let's go.
We burn them up for you,
Are they-
too.
That part I want to forget about. Yeah, I mean, listen, you give
Wow.
you give a poor kid some Pizza Hut, he's gonna eat it.
Yeah.
You know. But that was like my first job and everything. Ended up getting into Eaton Park. I worked at Sandcastle when I was like 15. I worked in one of like the little hoagie shops and stuff. But I've always been a go-getter in the sense of doing something because again, I wanted to do anything to get the hell out of my house. I wasn't allowed to go hang out with any of my friends from school because they weren't in my religion. And anyone that was in my religion that I wanted to hang out with, we just didn't share anything in common. There was one good friend I had, and his name was Todd. I'm sure he'll watch this. And his mother, regardless to this day, and she is still in the faith, she does not judge me for a single thing I do. She respects me, and she still to this day calls me her son. So thank you for that. I have changed my vision of success. I used to think that $500,000 a year, $1 million a month, a Ferrari,
Yeah.
all those
Material.
things. Materialistic things were so important to me before. And then I had something very traumatic happen to me. And I learned that you need to just slow down. You need to understand that life wasn't so bad before. I find my success now by how happy I am. And I wasn't always the happiest person.
Yeah.
Despite what everybody else saw, I've been broken, and I still think a part of me is.
Yeah.
It's challenging to be the happy person all the time.
Do you feel like you have to be?
Yes.
Why? Why do you put that pressure on yourself?
It's what I expect of myself sometimes, but it's also I want other people to have a ray of sunshine. I want them to feel okay to not feel okay, and I can take that on for them. The things that they're going through, I can hopefully motivate them to push through.
Do you ever think you're taking on too much?
Yeah. I have my moments, but that's why I have my releases.
Reason I'm asking, man. You're a people pleaser.
100%.
I'm guilty too. Mm-hmm. I want to make sure everyone around me is okay first. Right? Are you happy? And then I'll ask myself, oh, am I happy? You got to be careful. Yeah, sure, we love the fun-loving Christian, right? But at what expense? It's not, what good are you to everyone if you crumble,
Right.
right? Mm-hmm. You're not going to be you anymore.
100%.
So just be careful.
Yeah.
You know, I realize like you put yourself last. You didn't always put yourself last, but you're putting yourself last a lot now. Mm-hmm. You come first too. So
Right. And I think I'm learning that balance as I move forward and as I mature a little bit more. Because honestly, I mean, dude, you know me, I'm a goofball. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes, I do take on too much. It hurts because it's like, where's my vent? Where's my, where's my release?
do you have one?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
And that's the gym, my fighting. And I'm going to say it sometimes my drinking. And I don't think that's the healthiest thing sometimes, Sometimes I'll go 11 days straight working in a row. And I'm like, well, you know what? I just worked 11 days straight in a row. I'm going to go black out at the bar. And that's not smart.
Do you do that as a reward
Yes.
for you working so hard?
1,000,000%. And it's not that I intentionally say I'm just going to sit here and like rip shots back to back to back. That's never the plan. It's just kind of how it ends up happening. Because
Right.
my friends like to party too, So sometimes I forget. I'm like, oh, I'm 27. I maybe need to not take 8 shots in a night, It's challenging, dude. But I put a lot of this pressure on myself. And I do think that sometimes is my most comfortable release. Because I'll sit on my balcony, dude, and I'll just fucking drink 6 beers and have 4 pours of something, you know, but not pours. Like, I'm ripping it straight to the head. And it's hard because you're in this industry too. You're constantly around it. You get off work and you're like, shit, I want a beer too.
Yeah.
But can that beer be 1 beer? Can that beer be 2 beers? Or depending on, like, if I'm by myself, I can behave myself.
Yeah.
But when my friends come around, and y'all know who y'all are, dude, I mean, we bag on each other. We, like, in a good way, you know, it's a healthy shit talk. But it's always, yo, shut up, and take a shot. You know what I mean? So sometimes I have to even learn to distance myself and be like, yo, Christian, are you in control of this situation? Can you really, like, go home early? Can you be the first one to say you're going home? Generally, I'm not. And I do, again, think that a lot of that comes from, like, I hate to keep harping on it, but my childhood. Being around substance abuse all the time, not being allowed to do things. So, like, when somebody tells me not to do something, I'm like, dude, I'm going to go do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
You're not my parent.
Yeah, I can't relate. I never was around substance abuse. I never saw it. I have close loved ones that have, and, you know, yourself included. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know what you're talking about.
Right.
Because that would just be very hypocritical of me to do. But I do believe that you also have to own up to yourself.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I'm not saying you're using your past as a crutch. I'm not going to go down that road. But, you know, you're an adult.
Right.
You have responsibilities. I'm not sitting here trying to be daddy and give you lessons, but just be careful, man.
100%.
That's all, you know?
I think it's a scary road to walk down because, you know, how far do you go down that road before you're like, I'm too far down?
Usually it's too late when you realize that.
And I've been blessed to have my woman in my life to tell me that, like, you know, like, hey, man, like, you kind of take it too far sometimes. Or I've been blessed to even, my father is still in my life. He is 100% turned around his shit. He's actually a rehab coach now. Like, he helps people with these problems and stuff. And he's helped me a lot too. You know, I don't think I can't drink. I don't think that I can't go smoke whatever, you know, like, if I want to indulge in those things, I can. But it's always just about, like, finding that perfect balance between respecting your body. Because, I mean, I'm an amateur fighter. I go to the gym. You don't get top optimal things outside of that.
Yeah.
Smoking cigarettes, all that stuff. It all comes together, and it really can consume your life because you go home and you're like, damn, I got to deal with these dark-ass thoughts. Let me drown them. Well, guess what? You're not dealing with them. And that's kind of the one thing that I've been doing at my home level. Opening up to my woman. Opening up to my mom. Opening up to the people that have hurt me. You know? Like, just really just talking to them. Like, I'm hurt still.
Yeah.
And I'm allowed to be. But how can I heal if I don't talk about it?
Yeah. So, say you're out and say you're 5 beers in and one of your friends is like, it's time to go. You got to work tomorrow, Christian. Like, let's go. How do you react?
Oh, I mean, that's fine with me. I'll generally just be like, okay, we're out of here.
Okay.
Random occasion, depending on if I work 12 hours or 8, I'll be like, you know what? Let's take one more shot and then get out of here. Because I don't drink and drive. Like, I don't do that. Like, I'll just always Uber. But, yeah, I mean, it just depends in the moment what I'm feeling. You know, sometimes I'm in darker moments than before. You know, I have no problem ever leaving the bar. I don't need to be the last person at the bar. It's just, I like to have a lot of fun. Yeah. And sometimes I need to learn not to have so much fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because there has to be that balance of business and fun. And what's wrong with having 2 beers and going home? Nothing. It's always wanting the night to never, ever stop. Because I'm an in-the-moment person, man. Like, that's been something that I've always kind of been, you know?
Yeah.
I don't really worry too far ahead of me because I'm not promised that future. It was kind of like that quote that we talked about off camera a little bit too, you know?
Little did you know it was rolling.
Oh. So I was watching Kung Fu Panda one night, and Master Oogway is like the pinnacle of what you want to be. He's the GOAT, you know? And he said, the past is history, the future is a mystery, but today is a gift, and that is why it's called a present. I realized something because you're not here for a very long time, essentially. And I think, you know, even if you stay 100 years, let's just say you live to be 125. Essentially, that's not a very long time. That's a very minute amount of time compared to the entire existence of everything. I want to enjoy every moment to the fullest. It's just sometimes you don't have to do that under the influence of other things. Whether it's somebody else's image of you, whether it's your own anxiety, your depression, whatever, you don't have to allow those things to dictate you. The same way that anybody struggling with this, you don't have to allow that to control you either, you know? You gotta find that avenue and that middle ground of inner peace. And I think I'm coming up very, very closely on that. I'm a couple steps away from that complete inner peace moment, but I'm about to hit it. And when I hit it, it's going to be such a beautiful thing.
I'm going to say something to you, and this is coming from pure respect.
Absolutely.
There's going to be a point in your life where your decisions, you're a very spontaneous person. I think that's pretty apparent. And I don't think you really think about the consequences from that spontaneity.
100%.
Okay. There will come a time in your life, I don't know when that's going to be, that's up to you, where you're going to have to finally say to yourself, this has to change. I'm not saying you can't have fun, Christian.
100%.
You know, but instead of it being a level 10, maybe turn it down to like a 7.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. It just sucks because 7s are so much not fun as 10. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Right.
You're not wrong.
Look, I'm a dad. I own a business. I have a career. I have a lot of responsibilities. A lot.
Yeah, we've talked. I don't know how the fuck you do it. I have no clue.
We went to watch your fight a few weeks ago. You guys went out afterwards.
Right.
We came home because we worked the next day. Could we have gone out? Absolutely.
Oh, I believe
but
it.
I know I'm not going to be performing to my best ability that next day.
Yeah, and that's like one of the things over the years, like, you know, when I was 21 to 25, still had that lack of self-control. I think I've tightened in on those things as far as self-control, but it's time to just tighten it a little bit more, you know? And I think, like, when I was saying, like, about tightening, like, getting into that level of self-inner peace, I'm literally on groundbreaking things right now within my own self. Dude, I mean, the choices I used to make a year ago, I'm like, why would you do that? What did you gain? You know what I mean? Other than you lost money. You know, I used to go to the casino all the time. I used to stay at the bar till 4 a.m. What did I gain out of that? Nothing.
It's temporary satisfaction.
Temporary. I mean, yeah, my dopamine receptors at that moment were here, but then the next day, when they needed to be here, they were down here. That's insane. So, you know, I think I've done a lot of growth within myself, and I appreciate this, man, because, like, you know, kind of talking to you about these moments and stuff, like, I know you're not going to lie to me. I know you're not going to give me some bullshit, you know?
No.
So, 100%. And my main goal as coming onto this podcast was leaving a better person.
Yeah.
And I think with that little bit of wisdom right there that you shared with me, it's going to help. You know what I mean?
People are watching you, dude.
Yeah, I know, that's creepy.
So one of my kind of like life mottos is be a walking inspiration.
Absolutely.
For me, I have a family, I have a business. You know, I'm in the public eye.
Right.
Seen by thousands a week, right? I have a reputation that I need to kind of be aware of.
Right.
I'm not saying I have to be some upstanding citizen all the time, and you know what I mean? I'm not saying that at all. But
Clark Kent.
yeah.
Well, you'd rip that shirt anyway, so.
But what I'm saying is like my actions have greater consequence.
100%.
And I'm always aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have a lot of people, my clients, my training clients, they look up to me. I'm a role model to a lot of people.
100%.
I'm always aware of that. So am I going to go out partying? Nothing wrong with that. But I'm going to be very careful.
100%. Because like you said, someone's always watching.
Right. You're going to get to the point where your vision, you're a people pleaser. We talked about that.
Unfortunately.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
There's going to be a point where there's a lot of people looking up to you. And you don't want to be your dad. Take that lightly.
No.
You don't
We
want
have had conversations about that, yes. Not me and you, so to speak, but yes.
We don't want you to be your grandfather.
Right.
They were not good role models for you. Mm-hmm. Right?
100%.
Don't follow in their footsteps.
Right. Rise above it and be better.
Right. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm
100%.
not trying to change who you are, but there's going to be a point in your life where you're going to have to make some sacrifices.
It's hard to change who an individual person is, but it's not impossible. And you can always change for the better. Don't lose the positive things about one's character. You know, the outgoing, the charisma, the influential, like almost, standpoint, like, but you're not wrong. I think everybody has their own inner demons that they need to work on. But if you're not willing to put that forth, you're not going to accomplish that. And that's something I've been doing every single day. It's just, I started reading books again, man. Like, it's weird. Like, I'm sitting on the balcony with a cup of coffee, like,
Get you.
reading a book, like, yelling at the kids outside on, get off my lawn. Like, I feel like I'm like
You're getting
50.
old.
Yeah, like,
Old soul.
I found a gray hair, dude. I mean, yeah,
Oh,
no. But,
man.
I honestly know you wouldn't say these things to me either if you didn't give a shit. And that is something that I appreciate because at the end of the day, dude, self-accountability is the most important thing. But can you listen to what somebody's telling you? So
Yeah.
either way, I do appreciate, the little bit of advice on that. And I think it's going to be something that I struggle with, not always having so much fun because it's not so much this. It's wanting to be in the moment, the FOMO, the fear of missing out, bro. Like, you're like, oh, like, all my friends are going out. I want to go there.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's going to be the same thing tomorrow, right? Like,
Yeah.
the same thing they're doing on Thursday, they're probably going to do on Sunday.
Yeah.
And you're off Sunday. Or at least you're off Saturday, so you don't have to worry about Sunday. And that's kind of something that I've been holding myself accountable to. If I have to be somewhere the next day, I'm not going to sit here and punish my body.
Sure.
And I can't do that much longer anyways because I'm actually about to be back on my fight schedule. So
Nice. Perfect segue.
Yeah.
Because that's the next thing I wanted to talk about. So I alluded that, Maria and I went to watch your fight a few weeks ago.
Thank you
Muay
for coming.
Thai.
Yeah.
So that was your second fight, right?
Yes.
How did you get into it? How did you get into it?
Well, I wrestled for about 12 and a half years, always got into the physical aspect of working out. When I was younger, I did suffer from the, little guy syndrome and people bullied me. I got thrown in a trash can when I was like 3rd grade. You know what I mean? I was like, that's not going to happen again.
Yeah.
So Dragon Ball Z and anime had a lot of inspiration into working out for me because I used to try and go Super Saiyan, all that stuff. Anyways, how did I get into Muay Thai? So I met my trainer. His name's Jordan. Very good dude. I met him actually from going to bars, and he actually came into my bar a couple times, and a couple times we sat down, had a couple beers, nothing crazy. And he was like, dude, I was like, I miss wrestling. I wish I could do something more. And he was like, well, would you ever train MMA? And I was like, I mean, that's kind of crazy, but sure. Like, you got a gym you go to? He's like, no, dude, my entire house is like matted. Like my setup is that, dude, I train Karate Kid style in somebody's garage. I train in a 40-year-old man's garage. Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off. I do his yard work. I freaking like.
Tell me he has a bonsai. Tell me he has a bonsai.
He does not have a bonsai. But he does have an insane tequila collection. So maybe that's his bonsai. But that's how I got into it, dude. And I started out 2 days a week for 6 months straight. I had my first fight about 2 months after that. And I should have been doing a lot more training before I went into that first fight. But I wanted it. And I think if you want something that bad, you should go for it regardless. Because that's the thing about combat sports. If you don't test yourself, how good do you know how really you are? You know? Yeah. You don't know if you're going to be a #1 fighter in the world or bottom whatever. But that's how I got into it. So
okay.
Yeah.
What does it do for you?
Keeps me disciplined. It keeps me not hot-headed. It keeps me centered and in control. I know for a fact any person on the street, unless they have some type of training, is not going to be worth my time. Do I want to take the risk and roll those dice to find out if they have training? No, because it's not worth my time either way. Mm-hmm. But being able to know that I can protect my family is the most important thing. My woman and her safety is probably my #1 concern over my anything else in my life. Probably even over my success. And I don't know if that's a smart choice or not. But for her to feel comfortable and happy, that means I can focus on my success. Mm-hmm. So it allows me to keep myself grounded, man. My trainer beats the shit out of me all the time, dude, and then it keeps me humble.
Yeah.
Because, like, as soon as I get a little cocky, he's like, doop, hits me with a combo I've never seen before. And I'm like, ow, my jaw. Yeah, man, it keeps me grounded. It keeps me honest. It keeps me on my toes. And it keeps me challenging myself. Mm-hmm. People don't understand how freaking hard it is to go to do something. Volunteer yourself to go get punched in the face. I guarantee you think twice about it, especially when you actually get hit. I'm not saying my trainer's like overly aggressive or anything, but you know, when you're sparring, things get in the moment. He's the best thing, probably top 5 best things that's ever happened to me.
So one of my previous guests, Brittany, gonna card that one also, but keep watching this.
Please do.
She does the Tough Mudders, right?
Tough Mudders?
Tough Mudders, Spartan races, like those obstacle courses outside
really?
In the
like
ice,
you're talking about like when they're like
the mud,
crawling on the ground.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So I asked her, how do you train? She said the best way to train for stuff like that is to put yourself in that environment.
Yes.
So go out and run in the freezing cold rain uphill. Make yourself as uncomfortable as possible. So when that actually happens, it's like, oh, I know what this feels like. So you getting punched in the face by your overly aggressive trainer is probably not the worst thing because you're being prepared for the worst, right?
You know what's funny? If you seen this man walking down the street, you would never know.
Unassuming, huh?
And he doesn't even talk about it. And I think that's the beautiful thing about it, you know? My biggest thing is like when I go out, I try to avoid talking about it. Like when I go out to like a function or something.
Yeah, you don't advertise it.
No, because somebody's always going to be like, oh, you do this or you do that. Like, let's find out.
Sure.
And I don't need that. That's not why I do this. I do this shit to challenge myself. I actually want to make a confession. Do we do confessions on here? I've seen a couple confessions.
Oh, we do confessions.
I hate fighting. I don't like to fight. I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong. But do you think as soft-hearted and compassionate I am, you think I want to go out there and hurt somebody?
You broke the dude's nose you fought.
You saw, bro. You saw that shit.
It was bad.
I genuinely, to this day, I'm proud of it because I worked hard for it, but like, that wasn't my intention.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing for me, man. As much as I love fighting, I hate it because I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt you emotionally, physically, mentally, you know. And to be honest, like the guy that I fought, he's 0-2 now. What do you think that makes him feel like, you know? Yeah. Granted, now I'm on the positive side of things, but if I was 0-2, I know how I would feel. And I'm planning to do some big things. Anybody that I've ever fought, you know, I hope that we can all get together and have a beer or go train together and get each other better because iron sharpens iron. And if you're willing to come meet with me and talk to me and, you know, hash things out, however, whether, I didn't really get to talk to him after.
Yeah.
I gave him a hug and he hugged me, so I think we're good.
Yeah.
But dude,
look, I'm going to pull a Christian on you. So now he's 0-2.
Yeah.
What if that second loss is what he needed to become better?
Yeah, and I thought about
maybe
that.
that's what he needed.
Well,
to have his nose broken.
I'm gonna be honest. Dude, wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to fight. Dude came with some.
Yeah. It was a split decision.
Yeah. He came with some combinations. Maybe that's what he needed, so that now he can go 2 and 2, and 3 and 2, and 4 and 2, and 5 and 2. And I hoped he does that, just not against me, like respectfully.
So hopefully he's going to be on a podcast somewhere.
Hey,
and
man,
he's going to talk about that fight. And he's going to say, he's going to look in the camera. He's going to be like, I want to thank Christian for breaking my nose and for me losing that battle because he made me a better person. He made me want to be a winner.
Listen, man.
You never know.
And if that happened, he's more than welcome to come sit down with me and talk about it. Back again here. I'm actually inviting somebody on on your podcast. I'm sorry. We can go and do what we need to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, it's a hell of an experience. Like, I think adversity pushes you to the fullest person of who you are. You get to find out, what are you made of? That third round, dude, I did something I should have never done. And I put my hands on my knees.
I know.
And I heard all of you scream at me.
Yep.
And
I had no voice for 3 days after that fight.
3 days.
Maria was like, because I was kind of yelling.
Yeah, no. You were yelling. There wasn't
like,
no kind of. I heard.
She's like, babe, get up front and use your voice.
Oh my God, and
like,
did you, bro?
I was like, all right.
I'm not going to lie. My first fight, I had tunnel vision. I didn't hear nobody. I literally heard you and Luca just like it was crazy.
Glad you could hear me because
oh my God,
I was destroyed for 3 days.
I think somebody thought you might have jumped in the ring, bro, because like the way but that's that passion, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
I do.
Yeah.
I was just like shut up, I'm trying to focus. Like it was so crazy.
I was wondering if you could even hear me too.
Oh no, I heard you. I heard you more than my trainer.
Oh my gosh. Mission accomplished.
Actually, funny as shit. I didn't even tell you this. I went to the corner. He was like, I wish your friends would shut up so you could hear me. He's kicking you. Stop it. Stop letting it happen. And I was like, all right. I was like, but can I have some water?
Oh my gosh. No, Jordan, I will not shut up.
No.
I will not.
Absolutely not. Like, it's crazy, man. I mean, it's beautiful. I want my friends to share that passion with me, because part of that reason I'm out there too is showing people that anything is possible. We didn't really get to touch on this yet, and I hope I'm not jumping too prematurely. I had a spinal injury, dude.
Did not know that.
My T8, my T9, and my T10 were all fractured. 2 linear, 1 compound. And at one point in time, there was a fear that I wasn't going to walk. I had to do physical therapy that I couldn't afford. So I didn't pay for it. I did it myself. I looked it up on YouTube. And I did what I could. I don't even have medical insurance right now. I haven't had medical insurance since I was probably like 18. I haven't seen a doctor since I was 16.
Wait.
Sorry.
You Muay Thai fight and you don't have health insurance?
Nope. Yeah, now that actually you say that and we kind of talked about it.
I'll have to bring that to the surface.
I just kind of thought about that's kind of fucking stupid.
I'll have to call you out on it. Anyways.
Wow,
your spinal injury.
Dumb.
Hey, I'm the voice of reason, man.
Yeah, you are. The dad came out. He's like, yo,
you might want to reconsider.
Yeah.
Talk to your employer about getting some medical insurance.
Absolutely, and I think they're in the swing of doing those things for surely.
So back to your spinal injury.
But yeah, so some dude pushed me off a balcony, and I fell 12 feet, and I fractured my spine. Now, granted, I ain't fall over by myself. I brought him with me. I ain't going over by myself, but it was all over a female. That sucks. I couldn't walk for 9 months. Well, I could walk. I had to have assistance. I had a body cast, and luckily I did not have surgery. Can you believe that?
No.
Spinal fracture, 3 different ligaments, no surgery. Talked to the doctors, and they were like, listen, if this would have happened 2 years later or a year later, because your spine stops healing yourself. Ooh, I'm a little sorry. Your spine stops healing yourself at age 30. There's no longer any regenerative recovery, anything like that. So, long story short, I'm very blessed to have it happen when it did.
Mm-hmm.
It pushed me forward. And I just worked my ass off to get back to where I wanted. I can't say I didn't know how to fight before that, but I definitely only knew how to wrestle. And other than that, I was going to be throwing haymakers because we were supposed to go fight downstairs off of this balcony. But I let him get behind me. And while he took a shit route, it is what it is. And you know what? I still thank that person to this day because I don't hold any animosity or hard feelings towards him. Why am I going to do that? It hurts me.
So what happened to him? You broke your freaking back.
So he broke his other arm. He actually hit me. The first punch he hit me with was a cast. He broke his other arm. And there's rumors like he had a gun on him and it fell out, but he couldn't pick it up. There's so many rumors. I don't really know. But long story short, we went to court and he had to pay my medical bills. So
I'm going to say something that's going to make you chuckle. So he had 2 broken arms.
At that point, yeah. I know what you're...
Someone's not wiping their ass.
Sucked.
Someone's not wiping their ass. Who wiped your ass?
Who did?
Huh?
Let's just take a moment. It wasn't me.
Take a moment of silence.
Yeah. I mean, that's a dirty job.
Ugh.
Now, and you know what? Even in that moment, I gotta say, like, I had to have somebody bathe me, man. Do you know how weird that is?
Well...
That's freaking weird.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I get it.
That's really weird.
It's kind of like losing your masculinity in a way. It's just like...
In a sense.
You're kind of like helpless, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I was very fortunate to have people that cared enough to do that.
Yeah.
That's kind of the root of what I was getting at, you know? It was my friend. It was my, at the time, my person, you know? It just, you don't get people that care about you enough to do that.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like, we're talking like you're seeing me at one of my most vulnerable states.
Mm-hmm.
And as a man, I might not be your image of like a 6'4", 250-pound man, but I'm a grown-ass man.
Yeah.
I still walk around with the confidence and the masculinity of somebody who is that size.
Mm.
So it took its own personal challenge on me too as well for that, you know?
So you brought up your woman, Luca.
Baby girl.
I want you to tell me about Luca. Kind of bottle her up. Who is Luca and what does she mean to you?
Oh, man. I mean, she's literally one of the most amazing people I've ever met. I mean, when you talk about me being a people pleaser or putting myself last, she's the only person I know that does it better. I mean, she has her mother, her little brothers, myself. I mean, sometimes I have my very immature moments that she has to deal with, and that is not easy, especially like, you know, just on top of other bullshit. She is a loving, warm-hearted, kind person that you just really have to meet for yourself. And I mean, I know you've met her, but I'm talking to all of yins. She just, dude, she makes me want to be a better person because sometimes when I'm not a good person, she calls me out on it and she's not afraid to. She's the only girlfriend I've ever had that actually calls me out on my shit. Like, and not very nicely. And sometimes me coming from that rough, rigid background, I need that.
You do need that.
You know? And sometimes I get mad at her for it. But then, like, later on, I'm like, sorry, babe. Like,
she's younger than you, right?
Yeah, she's 22. And I'm 27. So...
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Like, well, women have this tendency to mature quicker than men.
Is that your excuse?
Well, sometimes.
Just joking.
No, they really do, though. They do.
It's like that motherly... I don't know what it is.
I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
I give them credit because, like, if it was up to me, I'd have, like, a TV, a bed, and a couch, and I'm good. But she's like, no, babe, we need things on the wall. we need flowers, candles. And I'm like,
window treatments.
yeah, like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man, but she's such her own person, and she's so beautiful in every aspect, but she's not afraid to meet her flaws either. We've had some conversations within each other, and I think that's like one of the most admirable things is sometimes I'm afraid to face my flaws. And she's like, you got to. She makes me a better man. And I think at the end of the day, that's the goal, is for me to make her a better woman and for her to make me a better man, you know? I mean, you've met her. She's
Yeah.
a little firecracker, but she's fun.
Yeah, is.
She's really a good person.
Yeah, she absolutely is. And you guys are similar in the sense that, you know, you're extroverted. You probably more so than her.
I was about to say, so
Yeah.
sometimes it's really dope to have her around because you have to understand, I'm so out there with the things that I have no filter and I'm not ashamed of anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not easily embarrassed. But sometimes she's like, babe, they didn't need to know that.
Yeah.
You know,
she kind of reels you back in a little bit.
Yeah, and that's really nice to have. I might not appreciate it in that moment, but dude, that really is like a really, really, really nice thing to have because sometimes I say some off the wall landish things, you know, and I don't ever mean anything offensive or anything bad by it. I just have a really bad sense of humor. So, nah, man,
You do balance each other pretty well.
1,000,000%, you know? I mean, I couldn't have been blessed with a better woman. And that's one of the things that I want to say to her on this podcast is that the sacrifices that she takes and deals with and adjusts in her normal daily life with all the mistakes and imperfections that I've made. Dude, thank you. Thank you, babe. You're literally my best friend. You're my rock. You're my soldier. You're like, actually, you're the general. Let's be real. I'm the soldier because you call the shots at the end of the day. But thank you. And I love you because you've loved me better than anyone else ever has. And that's really something I got to be appreciative of. So, love you, baby.
I'm sure she loves you the same back.
She'll probably be like,
I should have her on.
I was about to say, you should. I would.
The other
oh,
side.
dude, I was literally going to talk about that. Flip flop it.
We should.
It's like, you could label this yin and she could be yang.
Yeah.
Well, I think yang's black. So maybe you should like flip that. I'm just saying. Like,
Yeah, Luca, we'll talk. We'll set something up.
oh, she's going to be watching this.
Oh, I know.
And you know she's going to be like, Christian, why'd you get all cheesy and corny? And well, anyways, we bring out the truth. Oh, my goodness. By the way, she hates this pinky ring.
I mean,
I don't know. I was just trying to do something different.
it's different.
I want to develop into my own person and my own human. And by the way, guys, none of this jewelry I have on, well, no, she got me this, so I ain't going to talk about this. All this jewelry and stuff, man, I don't buy real jewelry. I don't.
Yeah.
I bought this off Shein. I don't care. Dude, why am I going to buy real jewelry? For you to rob me? For me to get in a fight and break it? No. I just want anyone that might wonder, you know, oh, he's trying to flex. No, I'm not a flexing person. This was $2.50. You could have it. I don't really care.
Actually, that brings up an interesting point. So you're wearing a pinky ring, a watch. You got multiple earrings, and you got your chain. I got my chain. I didn't even notice it. Okay. I think that's the difference between men and women. So if we were both women, let's pretend to be women real quick.
Can I have a nice rack?
Don't pretend too hard.
I was about to say, ooh, my bad. Probably shouldn't have said that. My bad.
They would be, and I don't want to stereotype, but they'd probably have noticed all of that.
Right. 100%.
And probably in the back of their head being like, why did he get that? Why did she shouldn't be wearing white gold and yellow gold at the same time. Like, right?
Wait, are they? I don't even know if they are.
Well, no, I'm saying like.
But no, yeah.
But that's what. Is that what they do? I'm sorry, girls. I'm sorry. Seriously, I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry. I went off too far off of the microphone, but I feel like they do.
Yeah.
Listen.
Why,
guys
though?
are like this.
My question is why? Like, why do they care so much about what somebody else does? How does it affect them?
You know, oh man, I could get in a lot of trouble speaking on this.
I want to know, why do you care so much about what other females do?
Think or do.
Where by their hair style, their hair color. Why do you care so much about what someone else does? It does not
100%.
affect your life.
I'd be like,
I'm just curious.
no, because sometimes like my girlfriend gives me the tea, and I'd be like, I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't care. I don't care. Like,
Right.
why do I care that Josie said that Amy has bad hair?
Right.
I don't really like. Honestly, bro, if you had a bad haircut, like, I don't really care as long as you're happy. It doesn't fucking matter.
I know.
And not that you have a bad haircut. By the way, still think it's awesome what you fucking did. That's awesome.
Drew.
And that's a step.
Thank you, buddy.
That is a step for people stepping out of the normal and even being okay to put themselves out there, bro. Don't ever be afraid to put yourself out there. Like, what? I mean, y'all heard some of the things that I talked about before in my struggles, like on this place and like even my childhood, bro. I'm proud of what I do. Every single thing that I've ever done, whether it was good or bad, you know, in a certain retrospect, I am proud of it because I couldn't be who I am today without it. And I got a couple grays in there. I'm not going to hide them. I want to be a silver fox, dude. Listen, man. I embrace that, bro,
Yeah.
because that's wisdom right there. That's like a sign of you getting it, you know? Yeah. At the end of the day, why don't we embrace the body features that we end up coming into? Like, some women are very insecure about their stretch marks.
Some women are not recognizable anymore. It
100%.
doesn't even look like themselves.
Yeah.
But
hey, if that's what makes you happy, cool. But there's also nothing wrong with being a natural person or whatever. Like, I saw this thing, man. I don't know the name of the person, but like they got like bicep implantations and like a implant,
like with the oil.
I don't know what it. It was some type of cosmetic plastic surgery, and like they put a 6-pack on them, but didn't work for the 6-pack. Like, in my opinion, you look more silly than somebody with a dad bod. Like, that's just my opinion though, because like you want the reward without the work. And what sense of value are you gaining from that? Like, what? How can you be proud of that? Oh yeah, I paid $60,000 for a 6-pack, bro. I could pay $7.99 for a 6-pack of Corona right down the street.
$10,000 a pack.
Wow, that's crazy. And I get a 6-pack right down the street. That's cheap. $7.99 for Corona, bro. And I'm just letting you know, we paid the same thing.
Different results.
Yeah, but still, I went to the gym and I put in the work, so now I'm happy. And I actually, like, right now, and I'm, not really here to talk about that, but, like, bro, I have an 8-pack right now. That is something that I'm proud of, bro. I saw it. My girlfriend, bro, she fucking made me feel like a king. I hit the corner, and she was like, is that 8? And I was like, no, I didn't get a new tattoo. What are you talking about? And she's like, no, babe, like, you look great. And I was like, oh, do I? Thank you.
Tell me again.
You know what I mean? Like, it just felt good because when you put in that work and you get the recognition for it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It feels good. Now you know you worked for it. Why would I want to buy a 6-pack? Like, and again, it goes back to the whole thing. If it makes you happy, right? If it makes you happy, I don't want to harp on anybody doing anything that makes them happy because that's not why we're here. We're here to, motivate people and put them up. I just don't understand it. And if somebody has had cosmetic surgery or something like that and wants to enlighten me, not even on this podcast but in like just my own personal life, please talk to me. I'll always meet up and go get some food or something. It's just, I don't think there's anything wrong with sharing stories.
Yep. All right, brother, you know what time it is.
All right, well, this is really expensive, so I'm not touching that. You can move that. There we go.
No, I haven't had to give any rules to anybody before, but knowing that you're a fighter, we're going to set some ground rules here.
Okay.
Rule number 1, you're not going to come up from under the table with your foot and like side kick me in the face.
Okay.
Okay?
I thought about it.
Rule number 2, you're not going to punch me while we're doing this. You're not going to break my nose like you did to the last guy.
You're making this fun for me. Okay.
Rule number 3, you're not going to yell at me while we're doing this like I yelled at you during your fight. Okay?
He's not letting me have fun.
Those are all the rules. Other than that, anything goes.
Okay.
I'm undefeated.
Now, I do have a request. And I don't remember if you've ever done 2 arm wrestles
What?
in one show. I have never seen you do 2. But I'm left-handed.
Oh, okay.
No. But we can take turns.
No. In respect of your left-handedness,
Yes.
we'll go lefty.
All right.
And now I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
While we do this, you start when you're ready, man.
All right.
Go ahead.
Go. They definitely see my chair just lift up.
If you could scream something from the rooftops, anything to get the message out to anybody and everybody right now, what would it be?
Go attack your dreams. Go get it. Don't ever stop letting yourself be challenged. And just because you think that they're ahead of the game, they might not be.
All right.
I'm moving all over the place. No, man, go and attack your dreams.
Dude. That was a good fight.
Hey, I gotta be. I got people like you on my level. I got, and that's the thing. I consider us on the same level. We're in different games of the fitness world, and I want to push you to be better. I actually, before I came here, looked out some technique. I really did.
I do not doubt that
I
one
really
bit.
did, because I was like, what? It'd be nice to be the first person to beat him. No, man, you got to push your friends.
Yep.
You got to push your adversaries. And like I said on that one, on the other episode I watched, you got to push your gym nemesis too. You have to. Yeah. Anybody in your life that is doing something or involved in a daily basis with you, push them to be better.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, dude, I'm sitting here like, my chair's lifting up. But I'm like, I ain't going to back down without a fight.
Right.
Because I'm going to show you at the end of the day, you still got some work to do.
Yeah.
I mean, people see me and you, and they probably like, no, man. I mean, you probably could have, but that's not the point.
I mean, that was very respectable.
It's just at the end of the day, bro, push the people you care about.
Yeah.
Love them. Understand that they love you too, probably just as much, and don't be afraid to tell them.
Yeah.
If you got to sometimes sit down and have the hard conversations, and I think this was a hard conversation we had, we talked about some touchy points. I didn't know what I was going to be willing to share. I knew I was going to be open to it, but
the hard conversations are the best conversations, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Before we close out, Christian, is there anything else that you want to discuss? Is there any questions you had for me? Anything?
The biggest things I can say is just, I want anybody watching this podcast to understand that we're here to respect each other. We're here to get down to the nitty-gritty stuff that is hard to talk about. But I am going to, again, leave here feeling better because I hope my story can help somebody. I hope they have advice for me as well. I hope you're commenting on this. Hey, Christian, this is what I dealt with, and I went through this just like you, Don't be afraid to share your experiences in the comments because I watch all these videos. Like, I dive deep down, and I go down rabbit holes, man. Sometimes I'm here at 4 a.m. watching you, and it's kind of weird, but, like, I'm watching you at 4 a.m, bro.
It's kind of weird.
What can I say? I'm a creep.
You're probably not the only one, which is even weirder.
Nah, but thank you for having me on there. Again, guys, this is one of the best people I know. He knows what he has done in my life and for me and my lady as well. He's helped us through some very tough times and been willing to do things that other people weren't. This is a good dude right here. Y'all need to focus on this podcast and really listen to these. And if you want to get on, I'm sure he'll be more than willing to talk to you. Hit him up.
DM me.
Let's get this going, man. This is a good thing we got here. Look at all these fabulous bottles. If it's okay, I'd like to have one more pour before we leave. But that's another story. That's off topic.
Yeah, we'll go off camera for that.
Bro, for real, follow, subscribe. It takes 2 seconds out of your time, and it costs you nothing. I know that ever since I have involved myself in Shaun's life, I've become a better person, and I'm sure you could do the same. So, peace out, y'all.
I
Love you.
appreciate that, man.
I hope you all follow in the footsteps of everybody else that comes on here. Don't be afraid to talk, man. We all got problems.
Love you, bro. That was awesome. I appreciate you.
Love you too, brother.
And don't forget to watch one of these episodes. And like Christian said, subscribe. You have nothing to lose. It helps me out, helps guests like Christian out, helps me get more guests, more inspirational guests. Click it. And I will see you on the next episode of Barbells and Bourbon. Peace.
And it's a wrap, brother. Let's go.
We did it.